Hello everyone, today I will tell you about the film Monkey Man. Enjoy watching. Before watching, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. I'm trying to develop this channel and your support is the only thing I have. The film begins with a boy named Kid who is reading a children's book with his mother. The legend of Hanuman, a monkey-like deity who once swallowed the sun, mistaking it for mango. The story moves forward several years. A grown-up kid performs in a monkey mask at an underground mixed martial arts tournament. Despite his best efforts, Kid loses the fight. Tiger appears in the arena. He is the organizer here and announces the winners. Later, Kid asks his boss for more money for the performance. But to increase the fee, he needs to raise the level of the show. Kid buys information about the schedule of businesswoman Kapoor from a local teenager. Soon, a local beggar bumping into her table at a street cafe pulls a wallet out of her purse. The thief passes the wallet on. A well-oiled chain of street thieves through a dozen hands brings the item to the customer. Kid. With the stolen wallet, Kid goes to the Kinks, a bar run by Kapoor. Lying that he took it from the thieves, the guy asks to give him a job instead of a cash reward. He shows his palms, which are all burnt. At first, the manager doesn't agree, but then hires him to wash dishes. In the kitchen, Kid meets Alfonso, Kapoor's local assistant. After work, the guy goes to a place to pay a fee to enter a secret hideout where weapons are sold. He buys a revolver. While serving tea, Kid overhears Kapoor talking to Alfonso about an upcoming VIP party. The guy begs the dealer to take him as a waiter for the event, but he refuses. The people coming are too serious. To convince him, Kid offers to make money on a bet in an underground tournament. He admits that he will fight in a fixed fight. He wins in the first 2 rounds and goes down in the third. In the evening, Alfonso arrives at the specified address. The fight happens exactly as Kid says, so he appoints him as a waiter for the party. During the fight, the huckster explains how to behave and who the guests are. There are many influential businessmen and politicians in the hall. In addition, it turns out that the establishment is an elite brothel with prostitutes from all over the world. After work, Alfonso and Kid go down to the parking lot, where the huckster demonstrates his unit, a modernized tuk-tuk. During the next shift, the waiter notices a client next to a girl named Sita. His ring causes Kid to have an attack of flashbacks from his childhood. A police squad tried to evict him, his mother and neighbors from the village. Unable to restrain his anger, Kid goes outside to the alley to the trash can. There he notices a homeless dog, which he feeds with the remains of food from the bin. Sita, who went out for a smoke, catches him doing this. The next days pass monotonously. Kid works as a waiter in a brothel, feeding and training a dog during his breaks. Sometimes he works part-time in an underground ring, and in his free time he practices shooting with a revolver. When the time comes, Kid uses the dog to drag a gun through a hole in the fence. A metal detector frame prevents him from carrying the gun through the door. Alfonso trusts him to deliver bottles of cocaine instead of champagne. In a crowd of rich people, the waiter notices the police chief Cinco. An earring in his ear also causes an attack of memories. Kid goes to the toilet, where he tries to regain his composure. Then he adds cleaning product to a portion of cocaine. He gives this portion to Singh. This makes the cop's nose bleed, forcing him to go to the toilet to wash up. Kid comes in next, clutching a revolver in his hand. He points the barrel at Singh's head, hinting that this is revenge for his mother. A police officer intercepts a gun and hits a waiter with a bottle of perfume. A shot is heard. The guests in the hall begin to run away in panic. At this time, a fight is going on in the toilet. Despite his experience in MMA, Kid has a hard time with a heavy and large cop who is helped by a colleague before he gets a bullet. Even using a tray does not help Kid overcome his opponent. Having barely knocked him out for a moment, the waiter crawls to the gun, but a wounded comrade from the booth picked him up first. Grabbing the guest by the legs, he hits his head on the toilet and the revolver flies there too. And then a cop pounces on him, whom the guy tries to strangle with a chain from the toilet tank. The fight continues. Having smashed the sink with Kid's head, Singh takes out a hidden knife and stabs his opponent in the leg. When the cop puts Kid in a chokehold, he pulls out the knife and strikes back. At this time, security is banging on the door, forcing them to retreat from the mission. Having left through the emergency exit, Kid takes a running jump out of the window, but it turns out to be stronger. The guy is forced to fight his way out of the building by the stairs, throwing guards aside along the way. Having reached the parking lot with the sleeping guard, the guy bandages the wound on his leg. Armed guards are already coming down behind him, as well as the ostriches from the hall, led by Alfonso. Kid, out of habit, steals his tuk-tuk, but noticing the dealer, stops to give him a ride. Colleagues in the brothel business are racing along the highway when a chase follows them. Having broken away from the cars, Kid brakes sharply to let the police motorcycles pass. Soon, a helicopter joins the chase. Kid drives along narrow streets, but suddenly notices a girl ahead and brakes. Immediately, a cop car crashes into the tuk-tuk, flipping it over. The wounded Kid sees Alfonso running away before other cops arrive and knock the guy out with a precise blow. Kid comes to inside a car and in handcuffs, but resists arrest. Kicking the cops, he takes the gun from one, then shoots the rest. Having calmed down his opponents, he knocks out the lock with a bullet and jumps outside. Kid runs into the nearest house and goes up the stairs. It turns out to be an entertainment establishment, and soon the disgruntled owner appears with an axe. He swings it while the fugitive carefully dodges. But when the axe pins him to the wall, Kid bites his nose. The showdown continues. He almost strangles the lumberjack with the chain from the handcuffs, but then the cops burst in and open fire. The guy runs away, getting out onto the roof, but a well-aimed shot from a helicopter catches him, and the fugitive, losing consciousness, falls into the muddy waters of the river. Tormented by flashbacks, Kid comes to for a second somewhere underground. The bullet is removed from him and the wounds are cauterized. When he wakes up, the boy finds out that he is in a temple of the untouchable caste of Hedras. Kid wants to leave, but the overseer Alpha convinces him to stay for healing. In the process, Kid is introduced to the culture of the community, which includes musical chants. Alpha sees that he is tormented not only by physical ailments, but also by spiritual trauma. He invites the guest to look at the sacred tree, the seeds of which the Hedras use in rituals. Alpha offers Kid to undergo such a ritual, for which he makes an intoxicating powder from the seeds and gives the guest to inhale. During the drug trip, Kid goes back to his childhood. He was watching a puppet show with his mother when the village was surrounded by corrupt police officers sent by the leader of the religious sect, Baba Shakti. The corrupt cops start shooting, set fire to houses, and beat up citizens to convince them to leave this land. The mother hides Kid in the attic, from where he sees Singh enter the house. He tries to rape his mother, but she fights him off with a knife, leaving a scar on his ear. The enraged boss beats the woman and then sets her on fire. All this in front of Kid, who is watching from above. When the policeman leaves, the boy tries to save his burning mother, burning his hands to the point of flesh. That's how he got burns. Having experienced another traumatic experience, he begins to train in the temple, getting his hands into shape. A local drummer helps him understand that the main thing is rhythm. Having found the tempo, Kid confidently gains shape, practicing his endurance strength. Diwali, the Festival of Lights, begins. By the beginning of the holiday, Baba Shakti's party has won the elections. The Kajara community is persecuted by Shakti's supporters. Kid sees a beaten member of the caste that has sheltered him. Realizing that delay will drag out the story, he returns to the city. Alfonso, hiding from his colleagues, notices a poster about the monkey's return to the underground tournament. Not believing that Kid is back, he goes to the fight. Tiger happily announces a new fight, spinning the intrigue and getting the crowd going. The fighter in the monkey mask has indeed returned, only the introduction of the fight turned out to be longer than the match itself. Kid knocked out his opponent with one kick. The stunned crowd and organizers do not know what to do. Not wanting to let Kid go, Tiger brings a second fighter into the ring, a bruiser nicknamed Bear. There are some problems with him. It is not so easy to knock him out, but the monkey retains the advantage in speed. He dodges attacks, delivering his own blows. Tiger gives the bear a bat wrapped in barbed wire. Having knocked down his opponent, the monkey picks up the bat, but does not finish him off. The audience has no choice but to rejoice at his victory. It turns out that Kid sent an accomplice to bet all the money on himself. He sent the winnings to the Hydra community, which saved him. While people are celebrating Diwali, corrupt politicians led by Baba Shakti gather in Kings. Kid goes there, taking off his mask at the entrance. He climbs over the fence and goes to the kitchen. There, he is met by security to be beaten up one by one. Having killed everyone who stood in his way, Kid sets a gas cylinder on fire. Grabbing a knife, the Avenger continues on his way. The guests in the hall hear the cylinder explode in the kitchen, when Kid appears from the elevator and launches fireworks at Singh. While some guests run away in panic and others are taken out by bodyguards, Kid deals with the security. He notices that Singh is running away in a golden elevator. In order to catch up with him, he needs to deal with the security, which the guy does, using all available means. The first game is barely over when the second squad arrives in the elevator. But then the Hydra combat squad comes to the rescue. A fight begins, during which dishes are smashed and furniture is broken, and Kid manages to fight on the bar counter. The owner of the establishment appears with a gun. Kapoor tries to shoot Kid when the prostitute Sita comes to the rescue. She knocks out the boss under her nose. The guy chops off the owner's finger with the same device and leaves in the golden elevator up. At the top, Singh meets him. He calmly dodges his opponent's attacks, accurately delivering counterattacks. Singh manages to knock him down. Having risen, the pumped-up guy looks better. Having finally knocked down the corrupt cop, Kid beats him to death with a discarded shoe. Having picked up Singh's knife, which he did not have time to use, Kid, using the severed finger of the owner, rides further in the elevator, straight to Baba Shakti's penthouse. The religious guru and the elected politician are waiting for him alone, starting a conversation from afar. After rinsing his feet in the pool, the guru takes his padukas, emphasizing his important status, and goes to meet the Avenger. Baba Shakti tries to chat Kid up with talk of religion, but as soon as he is distracted by the searchlight of a flying helicopter, he takes out hidden blades from his padukas and stabs one of the guests in the side. The surprised Kid drops the knife and offers his hand for a second blow. The blade pierces his palm through and through, but the Avenger is furious enough to grab the guru's fist and break his wrist. Pulling the blade out of his palm, Kid stabs Baba Shakti in the chest. Then he stands up, staggering, and looks at the canvas on the wall, in the center of which Hanuman is visible. Looking at him, the boy remembers walks with his mother in the woods. The first happy memories in many years. Kid's eyes roll back and he falls. This is where the film ends.